Hey
Well,
guys. Hey.
welcome to Silver Phoenix Happy Hour. I'm Ken, and with me always is Blaze. Blaze, how are you this week?
I'm excellent. I got my little shark drink going on. It's
Look at
Shark
that.
Week. I mean, look at this. I was in Florida about a month or so ago at this place called Mulligan's, and my friend Raluca convinced me to buy the drink that had the shark in it, and I was like, well, that's perfect for Shark Week. So I have it's like some blue liqueur in there with some ice. It's all nice. It's good. Hmm.
I wish I had it available years ago. My best friend, his brother, when he celebrated his 21st birthday, we went out to the Bamboo in Seaside to
Okay.
celebrate. And after copious amounts of alcohol, he and I ended it with getting our own fishbowl to drink
Yes.
by ourselves.
Yes.
And it was huge, and I think I still might actually have the rubber shark that was in the drink because they had put a whole bunch of stuff in there, and,
Yeah.
it was one of those mind eraser nights, actually.
You know what? This week is perfect because I got, my friend over here. I got the same, oh, I guess on this side, I have the shark teeth from last week, when we were doing the scary movies, and Jaws happened to be one of the ones that was in the book of 100 top list, horror
Horror
list.
list, yeah.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun, but let's talk Jaws. Let's get down and dirty. So do you
Eh,
remember seeing it for the first time?
actually, my first exposure to Jaws wasn't the original, actually. It was, I believe, part 3.
Oh, the
I was a kid when
3D.
it came out, and when it aired on HBO for the first time, I was actually at my grandparents' house. My grandfather was a huge horror buff who subjected me very early on to horror movies and scared me to death as a child. I remember, being up all night for, like, 2 nights after watching Jaws 3, and then going back recently, revisiting it saying, "Why was I so scared?" It
Well,
was
that
Lou
was the
Gossett Jr.
3D. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
3D. Luke, I remember the shark. It was like an underwater aquarium, and the shark went into
Yep.
I don't want to ruin in case anybody hasn't seen it, but I don't know who hasn't seen it. It's been a really long time. So,
I think it was Leah Thompson's first movie, actually.
was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I wanna say, was it Jeff Bridges who was in it?
Well, I
Yeah.
know she was the ski, she did the water skiing trick, right? She was one of those girls?
There were a bunch of them, but yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know why, like, that always stuck in my head. It wasn't until years later. Dennis Quaid was, the lead in
Yeah,
3. He
yeah.
played Mike Brody. Um, yeah, I don't know how or why that was the first one I ever saw. I wish it wasn't. Luckily, it wasn't Jaws: The Revenge, because that was even
Well,
worse.
yeah.
I mean, how a shark goes from how a shark follows a family from Amity to the Bahamas makes 0 sense to me.
I mean, yeah, who knows? But I will say that first one though, I do remember seeing it as a kid, and you know, I don't remember if it was in the drive-in. I feel like maybe it was a drive-in theater, like later on. Obviously, I'm not in 1975, but later on, it was in the drive-in theater. Maybe like every summer or something, it came into our drive-in theater. But I remember seeing it in the drive-in, and then again on TV. It's one of those movies that for me, and I don't know which movies come on for you, but when it comes on TV, I get roped in. I have to watch it. Like and I can't, especially when they're at the part where it's the US S Indianapolis speech with
Mhm.
Quint and Hooper and Brody, like just that whole sequence when they're singing, and then all the stuff goes down right after that.
Trading
But
scars.
yes, yeah, trading scars. Like, I mean, it was just so brilliant. And I think too, like as I got older and then was doing the research on it and hearing all the problems that they had, including like Hooper and Richard Dreyfuss and uh, oh my goodness,
Shaw,
what's his name? Shaw, Robert Shaw.
Robert
They didn't
Shaw.
really get along on on set, so I'm sure that was interesting, especially since they had to be together so much. But I think like the Steven Spielberg and the mechanical shark failure of them doing
Bruce.
this Bruce, yes, doing this mechanical shark that they didn't prepare to be in salt water, so it malfunctioned all the time. Like, I
Yeah.
just can't imagine. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I used to watch the original on TV all the time. I actually taped it off of Channel 11 in the tri-state area here, years ago. I was in grade school, and I wore it out so bad, and I always remember even, like, when, right before it started, it would be like, "Uncut so you don't miss a bite," you know?
I love that. I mean, it did give me definite fear of the water, though. I mean, at least for in the ocean, I don't think for a second that when I go surfing, even now, I went surfing like 2 years ago with a buddy, and we were out there, and I saw a fin, and I couldn't, I froze, and I just like pointed and said fin, and he fell off his board, and we kind of laughed about it. There were dolphins, but dolphins can be just as bad. So we were like, let's get out of here. So we got out of the water. But seriously, like it is one of those things you think about. I'm not afraid of them, but it's more just like I think about them. They're apex predators. I don't mess
Yeah.
around. So
Well, the original is one of my all-time favorite films. I've seen it hundreds of times at this point. My
yeah.
question is, did you ever read the original novel by Peter Benchley?
I did. Yes. Yes.
I was in high school, I think, when I read it, and shocked to realize that there were, like, 2 subplots in there that the movie never covered. And,
Right.
one being, the mob was actually involved in the story, and then the one that I always wished they actually had tackled was, Ellen Brody having an affair with Hooper.
Right.
Like, in the book, that was a major thing, you
Right.
know?
I mean,
But,
I think in the movie, it's not that there's elements of it, but you just see a connection, I think, maybe between those characters. But no, I
yeah,
I, I didn't really think of it as any kind of affair, that's for sure.
no,
Um,
no, absolutely not.
yeah. Also with Jaws, the music. Like I
Oh,
was
John
thinking
Williams.
about, yeah, I mean, taking, you know, lemons and making lemonade out of what he was given, basically, or how to get around once everything was shot. It was so over budget. So what else could they do? And it ended up being the best thing ever because who doesn't know that? Dun-dun,
I was
dun-dun.
gonna say
Like who doesn't know
some
that?
something as simple as just "da-dun" could be, like, ridiculously overpowering, and it's the thing that just sticks in your head forever.
Yeah, and that you didn't see the shark for quite a while, like especially in the first one. I actually did like the second one as well.
I do
You
too.
know,
It is one of my guilty pleasures. Actually, growing up, my mom went to school with one of the kids that were trapped in the water in that movie.
no way.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember which one or what character?
I'd have to look it up, but yeah,
Okay.
he was, the guy with, glasses and a little bit longer hair.
Okay. I think
But yeah.
isn't he the one that he makes it, right? He's not one of the one that
Yeah,
gets killed?
yeah, he's
Yeah.
at the end, after when everything ends, he's just there, like, going, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you."
Yes, okay. I do remember him. That's
Yeah,
so funny. Yeah,
so
but do you remember the one scene where a star streaks across the screen? Do you think that that was real, or do you think that that was put in after?
it coulda just been luck, to be honest, I never really thought about it much. I mean, with everything that there was going into it, I mean, do you really think, they had time to sit there and worry about animating
I don't
that?
I don't know. That's why it's so. I think I looked it up, and it's sort of like some people say yes, it really happened, and some people said no, this was filmed during the day and made it look at night. And I wasn't sure which, but I know I go out a lot at night and not on the water and not in the water. That's feeding time. But but no, I'd like to take my camera and especially like in California, I would set up the camera to take shots of the sky, and I'm telling you, we caught a couple shooting stars. It just seems like every time I
So
put
so it's
that camera and it's crazy.
so it's very possible, you know?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
say
I
it
guess
coulda just
so.
been one of those happy accidents that worked out.
Right. Yeah, maybe so. Um, I know that later on we're going to talk about some other shark movies, but I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, kind of maybe the preservation or, kind of what we can do um, on this side of things to help. Um, just for awareness, really, about because they're being killed off in droves. Um, so if you,
Well, in a way, that movie did not help a lot because it brought a lot of fear to sharks, and to this day, I think a lot of people will always be afraid of sharks and think of them as terrible creatures just because of a movie,
right.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. In Beachcombing with Blaze this week, obviously, I did all about sharks. It was like my pleasure to do that. But I do talk about that a little bit, and that they really don't like the taste of us. So now, what do you think?
Is that gonna be the, spinoff to This Is Us? The A Taste of Us?
Oh no. Oh gosh, I hope not. There's so many more things that are more dangerous than a shark. And I also think that, a shark bite, obviously, if they're curious and they want to bite you just to figure out what you are or what's going on,
Yeah.
that is usually how people die. It's not because they get eaten whole like Quint in Jaws, So, so that's kind of the deal there. But I just think that they're misunderstood, and I think a lot of great programs like OSearch. I don't know if you've ever heard of OSearch, but they used to
No.
have an app. I'm not sure if they still do. I know they're still in business, but I'm not sure if they still have the app. But there was this very famous shark named Mary Lee. Do you remember Mary Lee? Have you ever heard of her? Because she
No.
would ping off of Jersey and off of Long Island. So great
Oh,
white
okay.
shark. Yeah, and they put like a tracker, and then you could follow her path and see like where she was going, and they did discover so many cool things like a nursery up on the East Coast, up by Maine, Massachusetts, Maine area, like further up from here.
Do you
So
remember how long ago that was?
yeah, I mean
C
it's only been 3 years, maybe that 3 4 years that they've been doing that.
Yeah, I think well, no, I mean, I think I remember going on and actually watching, like, a shark cam
Yeah.
online years ago. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know that they did a shark cam for Mary Lee, because I think she hadn't pinged in a while and everybody was getting nervous, like, "What happened to Mary Lee?" But then there's other ones too that you follow, and I think it's just brought such because they're beautiful creatures, and they've been if you ever go to an aquarium, I am mesmerized. It's like octopus on one hand, and sharks on the other, which you'll definitely see in Beachcombing with Blaze coming up.
Well,
But you know,
just the majestic part of it too, like, if they stop moving, they die, like, that's, like, crazy, like, they're consistently going, like, they don't stop,
There are a
you
couple
know?
species that don't have that problem, but for the most
Right.
part, 100% correct. Yeah. Um, yeah, but we'll tackle more facts because you know what time it is.
I think it's time to go beachcombing with you.
Let's do it. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. Today's episode is all about sharks. Did you know that there are approximately 500 different species of sharks in the world? They are a special kind of fish in the elasmobranch family, related to the manta ray, sawfish, stingrays, and skates. Instead of bones, like other fish have, they have cartilage. If you touch the tip of your nose, that's cartilage. Sharks have been around for over 400 million years and have highly developed senses: smell, sight, sound, touch, taste, just like us, but also electroreception and pressure changes. Their ears lie just behind their eyes, hidden under skin. Since sound travels faster underwater, they are experts at finding prey. A shark's eyes are 10 times better than ours, especially in the dark. They can see color, and according to my friend at the Long Island Aquarium, their favorite color is yum yum yellow. Remind me not to wear that yellow polka dot bikini to the beach anymore. The lateral line is a row of pores along the whole side of their body from snout to tail. This feature creates a sort of 3D pressure map of their surroundings, as well as giving them the ability to feel fish swimming around them. Between that and this next sense, they really are ace navigators. The ampullae of Lorenzini are black spots on a shark's snout. These little gel-filled pores pick up on electromagnetic pulses in the water, so sensitive they can even feel the heartbeat of other fish and marine life. So if a creature is sick, injured, or weak, a shark will hone in on it. How about that for a built-in sat-nav? Fantastic. They also have super sniffers and can smell one drop of blood in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Crazy.
Many sharks bite things they're curious about. This isn't aggression, usually just curiosity. Attacks on people are very rare. As a matter of fact, according to National Geographic, you have a 1 in 218 chance of dying from a fall compared to a 1 in 3.7 million chance of being killed by a shark. On the flip side, 100 million sharks are killed each year. The ocean food chain depends on these beauties to keep the balance and maintain structure for a healthy ocean ecosystem. So let's protect them at all costs. Until next time, explore, learn, love the adventure.
All right, like, I didn't know that sharks had so many ways of sensing things. I mean, I just thought it was like smell of blood. I'm out. I'm going. You know.
No, so many. They can hear heartbeats. They can hear, I mean, it is incredible, their navigation system. I wish I had something like that because I get lost all the time. I can't pay attention to my GPS enough. I get yelled
I
at
was
it all
gonna
the
I
time.
was gonna say you actually get lost with a GPS.
Well, it's not lost. I just I underestimate or overestimate when I should be turning. I see it says 100 yards and I take it for 100 yards, and it's usually not. It's 50 yards. So, whatever.
Darn GPSs.
Not everybody can be perfect, you know?
Actually,
So,
real quick, one of the things I did want to mention or bring up, your shark tooth necklace.
yes. Yes, yes. So I'm a member at the Long Island Aquarium in Riverhead, and that's where I got this baby. It's cool, right?
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, there's a cage. And I don't know, would you do this? I'm curious if you do this, but um, I convinced this guy Jordan to do it with me, but we're gonna get in the cage and dive with the sharks. So we're in the cage. We're not like, outside of the cage. We're gonna be in the cage in the water with the sharks, and I'll make sure I take a camera with me.
So you're going full hooper on this one.
Full hooper, except I won't have the little pokey thing with the, tranquilizer or whatever it is that to kill them. Well, I don't even remember what it was that he used, but
Well, he lost it anyway, so it
and
didn't
he
matter.
lost it. Yeah, and he lost it anyway. But yeah, so we're gonna do that, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait. So would you do it?
I would totally do that.
You would?
Oh yeah.
All
Oh yeah.
right. Well, I'll let you know when we're doing it. Maybe you can join us.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. So, what other movies? Let's segue back into, so we talked about Jaws, um, and other shark movies. What else comes to mind? And is it the hokey ones, or are there some good ones
There
that you
were
actually liked?
when that movie hit, I mean, we have to remember and remind the audience like how huge that movie was. That like every independent filmmaker jumped on that bandwagon, or every independent horror filmmaker jumped on that bandwagon. I mean, you had guys like Roger Corman doing like Piranha. You had Orca come out.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
there were so many, a lot of Italian horror movies that came out, and I can't bring a lot of them up because I do have a little trivia that I want to do with you.
Oh, okay. I like trivia.
That does incorporate some of these movies into it. I mean, it's
Okay.
only we're not going to go crazy. It's only a couple questions,
All right. I like
but
it.
but to celebrate a monumentous occasion you and I had years ago, we actually got to see the guys from Mystery Science Theater make fun of Sharknado live in a movie theater,
We did.
right?
We did.
So I'll start off with the first question.
Okay.
Which of these is not a Sharknado sequel subtitle? Which of
Okay.
these is not a Sharknado sequel subtitle? That's a tongue twister right there.
It is.
Is it A, Oh Hell No, B, The Fourth Awakens, C, Here We Go Again, or D, Global Swarming?
I feel like it's A.
Which one is not?
Oh, which one it's not? Yeah, A. I don't know. I don't which one would it global swarming was, right? The fourth
Yep,
awakening was.
yep.
So I'm between A and C, right? What was C?
Here we go again.
Here we go again. And then A was
Oh, hell no.
I feel like they would say "Oh hell no" in the movie. I'm gonna stick with A. I don't know.
Oh, hell no was the subtitle, I
Ah,
believe, of the third one.
It was. That's funny.
So no, here
So
we
it's Here
go
We
again.
Go
It was
Again.
not.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So in the similar vein, which of these titles is not a ripoff of Jaws?
Okay.
We have A, Cruel Jaws, B, Deadly Jaws, C, Jaws of Death, or D, The Last Jaws.
It's tough. I haven't seen most of those. D, The
Well,
Last Jaws?
that is correct.
Yay!
A lot of these were all Italian-made horror films back in the late 70s and 80s. So going back to the actual Jaws movies,
Yeah.
by the end of the Jaws saga, in Jaws the Revenge, or by the end of Jaws the Revenge, how many members of the Brody family have died? And
Ooh.
can you name them?
Yes. Well, main guy died. Roy Scheider's character died.
Martin Brody.
Martin Brody, yeah. So, oh, you're asking first names too. Geez. The mother dies, doesn't she? Oh, she's the one that gets chased all over the place and in Bermuda and stuff. The
Yep.
one son dies. Sean dies.
Sean dies. Yep.
Sean dies. Yeah. Um,
And you got it because Mike actually helps
yeah, and
kill the
Mike.
shark at the end.
Right, right, and yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so two.
And it was just such a shame because all they do in the fourth one was just acknowledge that Martin passed away, and they blame the shark for all the headache or whatever, all the stress over the years.
I mean, that going back to that first one because that's the iconic one for me. Even the poster, the seeing the poster of the shark coming up and the girl swimming on the top of
Yep.
the water, and she was skinny dipping too. Like, oh, I can't.
I actually got to meet her about 10 years ago at a show. She was super
You
sweet.
did?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Oh God, don't you're gonna put me on the spot now?
I am.
All right. Susan Backliny.
Okay. Yeah, that was a terrifying one.
So well, let's go into some stories actually. I mean, have you ever come close to one before, or have you,
Yeah.
like any kind of close experience?
Yeah, recently actually in Florida, my friend Raluca told me that it was only nurse sharks in the area we were going to be in. And I was snorkeling, and she ended up not snorkeling with me. So she's back on the beach, and I'm in the water. And all of a sudden, I saw a very large, and it was 4:30 in the afternoon. I was a nut for doing that because that's like close to dusk and feeding time. So I don't know what I was thinking, but but I just wanted to snorkel. And I shouldn't have done it by myself. So note to self. But anyway, I was out there and I saw a big shadow and I started kind of turning and watching it because I know you're supposed to keep an eye on it. So I kept my eye on it and it was a black tip reef shark, but it was big. And I was fine. I didn't panic or anything, but I definitely, did feel my heart rushing a little bit. And the
How
first
far?
time oh,
How far out were you?
I think it was about 50 feet. Like it wasn't far. It was, closer in because they do come in closer when it's feeding time. So, yeah, silly on my part. But first time I ever went fishing, I caught a baby sand shark. And it was, probably about this big, but I was 5. And I was so proud of that, when I caught that. And I've seen a ton of sand sharks since I moved to Long Beach. So I see them all the time. And then what else? Oh, in Bahamas, I saw some sharks. I fed some sharks. I've never done the cage thing, so I'm really excited to do that,
I'm
but
excited for you.
I know. I know. It'll be before the end of the summer, hopefully, so, uh, how about you? Any shark experiences?
Not except for the YouTube videos I see of people pulling sharks out of the ocean.
Okay. Yeah. There was just one, it was a mega mouth shark, which is a rarer shark. It's more of a deep sea shark that they found in the Philippines that washed up. It was dead, but they're gonna try to it was huge too. They're trying to put it on ice or whatever they're trying to do to secure it so that they can learn about it. That's kind of the point with sharks these days is I think it's 100 million sharks a year are killed. usually for their fins, and it's pretty barbaric what they do in Asia mostly. But they cut the fin off, the dorsal fin, which is the top fin, and then it sinks. It can't swim, so it sinks, and it's really brutal. But I think it's $100 per bowl of shark fin soup.
Huh.
I've never had it. Obviously, I would never do it, but yeah, so pretty sad, and it's humans that are kind of messing around with this person, this apex of the sea that that really is needed in order to keep things balanced.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then that's why we do shows like this, maybe to bring a little bit of education. And obviously, there are some sharks that you can fish for. I know in Long Beach, I've gone fishing before for shark, just not the ones that are endangered or the ones that are off limits. No great whites, no, like certain ones. But yeah.
Actually, I mean, the only other thing I can tell you that I've come close to with a shark was like the mako that I would eat periodically.
Okay. All right. I mean, that makes sense. There was just a mako that washed up. I think it was near Jones Beach the other day, and it was alive, so they did put it back in, and it did swim away, which was nice. It might have just gotten confused or something. Its nav system must have been off. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I wanted to ask you cartoons.
Yeah.
Like, let's lighten it up a little bit. So, because there's all those wacky movies, right?
Sharktopus, Dino Shark, Ghost Shark, Santa Shark is a movie I called when I was looking through stuff. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. I mean, I blame the asylum for having the success of Sharknado for these people going completely ballistic on
yeah.
anything shark.
I think weren't we watching Sharknado, and who was the famous person that tweeted
Uh,
back? We were like doing a live
David
tweet or something.
David Faustino from Married with
Yes.
Children. I don't even remember why.
I don't remember either. Did we give him a shout out and he just like
I
came back at
I
us, or maybe he liked what we were saying?
maybe because I don't even I'm trying to remember if he was even in it.
I,
you
I
know.
I don't remember that either. But David, if you're listening, we love you. Hi. So and then what about cartoons? So let's switch it up a little bit and kind of lighten things up. And actually, let's do a little quick cheers too, because I'm thirsty.
Cheers to animated sharks. And it
Cheers,
looks like
yes,
well,
the
you have an
animated sharks.
animated shark
I
right
know,
there.
he does look animated, right? I know, and I got this little guy next to me, which, there's a place, in Long Beach called the Codfish Cowboy, and I got him from there. He hangs on the wall. He's supposed to be like this, but I haven't hung him up yet, but he's my friend.
This whole
Um,
episode, I've been waiting for him to take a bite out of your arm, kind
he's
of kind of like Sean Brody.
yeah, right? Oh, man. No, 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 you be good, behave over there. No, so Jabberjaw is the first one that comes to mind for me. Like, just silly, 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 but fun. Did you watch Hanna-Barbera cartoons like,
Oh yeah,
growing
oh
up?
yeah. I
Was
mean, especially
Jabberjaw
back in like the early mid '80s when you had like USA Cartoon Express would play all of those things like in the afternoons and in the mornings and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was like Jabberjaw. I remember it was like Grape Ape, Jabberjaw. They were all like
Oh yeah.
but I do remember Jabberjaw. He was like a direct knockoff of the Three Stooges Curly, which I would love to have a friend of mine who is Curly from the Three Stooges grandson come on the show. Maybe we'll do a Three Stooges episode or something. He can come and speak on behalf of his grandfather.
Oh, we would have to.
Um,
I love that
yeah,
idea.
yeah. So we'll put that we'll write that down. But yeah. But the super funny. What else? What other cartoons have sharks?
Well, I mean, if you go through the movies, I mean, there's a lot of Disney stuff.
Right.
I mean, you had sharks going after Ariel and Flounder in The Little Mermaid.
Hmm.
Um, what else?
Oh, Finding Nemo. You
Finding
had the
Nemo.
sharks there. For fish are friends, not food.
Yes, that's right.
And then
Uh,
what was the other one?
oh, you had Shark Tale with
Shark
that
Tale.
huge cast of people like Will Smith, De Niro, Angelina Jolie, and Sykes the Shark, played by Martin Scorsese.
Right. Right.
You know,
So
so
good.
I mean, talk about that. Like, a Hollywood director is a shark. I mean, I'm sure you've had plenty of experience with that.
Funny you should say that, Ken.
Listen, do you ever
I
see the movie Swimming with Sharks with Kevin
Yes,
Spacey? That's a
of
great
course I
movie.
have.
Going back actually, because it's a little live action and a little animated.
Yeah,
The most recent one I could think of was King Shark and the Suicide Squad. So, of course, there was the first Suicide Squad movie that came out a few years back. James
right.
Gunn, who did Guardians of the Galaxy, was brought on by DC to do a sequel, and it is such a fun movie. And they introduce a whole bunch of new B, C list characters, but one of them is a villain who was always a foil or actually part of the Rogues Gallery for the Flash, actually, traditionally, King Shark, um, who was just this giant humanoid looking shark. Like he's built like a shark, but he's got legs and he walks around and he can kind of talk. And they make him very dim witted in the movie, but beautifully voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. When you were
It,
just
it,
talking, it reminded me of, Shark Boy and Lava Girl. That's another,
yes.
like, of the and then what about the boys? Isn't the Deep, isn't
The
he kind of
the
like a
deep.
shark creature, sorta?
I mean, he's kind of like your Aquaman, so he can talk to
Yeah.
sharks and stuff. I mean, I know he has a relationship with a dolphin
And an
and
octopus.
an octopus.
I have caught up on that episode, so
That show is really
it
wrong this season. It's
it
very
really
wrong this season.
is. I know, we're gonna have to talk about it, though, because it's, like, disturbing, but then interesting. We will definitely have to have a show about the boys, though, I'm sure. What other I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that we missed, so Shark Boy, Lava Girl.
Oh, again, you know what? You bring up Shark Boy and Lava Girl. One of my favorite indie wrestlers and actually was on Impact Wrestling for a while was a wrestler named Shark Boy. He actually wore a full mask with the shark face on it and a fin on top of his head, and his whole thing is we would make a shark fin to like cheer him on. It was great. The guy was
That's
amazing.
fantastic. I thought before when you said, "Oh, do you know what movie?" I thought that there was a shark somewhere in Who Framed Roger Rabbit because you mention that every week. So I was like, "Is there a shark? Is he gonna say that there's a shark in Who Framed Roger Rabbit?" Roger
Do I
Rabbit.
do I bring that up every
You
week?
do.
I
It
didn't
must
even
be
realize it.
you must have a thing for Jessica Rabbit. That's what I'm
Oh, I
thinking.
mean, well, since I was like 11 years old, I guess.
Mhm.
But no, yeah. But we are starting to run out of time. Actually, this show's going by very fast, and
It
I
did.
do know that we have to get in the kitchen because I really need to know what Nicole's doing for us this week because it is Shark Week.
Here's Nicole in the kitchen.
What's up, Ken and Blaze? Welcome back to my kitchen. Happy Shark Week, and I want to talk about something like a shark I just love to sink my teeth into as a pre-workout. Now, if you work out already on an empty stomach, that's totally fine, but something with a little bit of sugar that is rapid digesting can do wonders, especially for your strength training regimen. So, spoiler alert, yes, I'm giving you permission to enjoy a delicious Rice Krispie treat. Yes, you can go ahead, you can make these yourself, but then you're left with an entire pan of Rice Krispies treats, and I've seen how that plays out. It's not really pretty unless you have a lot of people in your home. And two, these are just so easy to grab and go. I'm all about the portion control. So I invite you to, yes, sink your teeth into a delicious Rice Krispies treat pre-workout the next time you're hitting the weights. Blaze and Ken, back to you in the studio.
All right, real quick, all I can say is leave it to Nicole to take Shark Week, and we got Rice Krispie treats. Amazing.
I know. I know. We'll say cheers to Nicole. Cheers. She brings it to us every week. I love it. I love it. So to wrap it up, let's talk Discovery Channel and Shark Week. So this week is not Shark Week. Shark
Yeah.
Week isn't until July 24th this year, but Shark Week's been around a really long time. What's the year, Ken? Do you? I want you to guess. This is a little trivia for you. When do you think that Shark Week began?
Oh, um, I, I don't know. Date wise, I mean, I would say about what, 25 years ago, maybe.
So July 17th, 1988, 34 years ago. It's
Oh
actually, and
wow.
I didn't even know this until I looked it up because, I really didn't know. But since 2010, it's the longest running cable television programming event in history.
Get
You
out.
know, I swear, and then it's broadcast in over 72 countries too, to top it off. And I know that Peter Benchley was a host one time too. I think for one of the first one where they had actual hosts.
I remember back at the height of Sharknado, like at its apex, they had Ian Ziering and Tara Reid like host it for like the whole week, or where they did like a whole bunch of segments and bits and brought people on, and you know
All right, so we will say cheers for now in our own Sharky way. And thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.